In this video, I'm going over 6 things that you probably didn't know about Destiny 2 with a focus on build crafting. Builds can be pretty important in Destiny 2 when it comes to playing the game effectively, whether it's your weapons, exotics, armor, or mods. So you want to make sure you're running the right stuff, and to do that, you want to know how the game works. Starting things off with number 1 on our list, did you know you can generate heavy ammo in just 17 kills? I feel like this one is actually pretty game breaking, and I never see people using this efficiently, but you can use heavy ammo finder mods to generate ammo. Most people know that already and it's nothing new, but what most people don't understand is how the system for spawning a heavy ammo brick works. Ammo finder mods work on a counter, which as you can see here, gives around 1.1 to 1.3% to the counter each and every kill. You need to get 100% in total to spawn an ammo brick, so on average that's going to be around 83 kills just to get a single brick, which honestly sucks. But using a primary weapon increases the percentage gained by 4.25x, and exotic primaries increase this even further to over 5 times the base percentage. Meaning with an exotic primary, you can spawn a brick in just 17 kills, exactly like I did here. Speaking of mods you're probably using incorrectly, number 2 on this list is how Kickstart mods actually work. This applies for grenade, melee, and utility kickstart, all of which have up to 54 total different combinations, leading to 9 possible outcomes, each of which affect how much energy you get back for the ability you're using. Each of these mods are going to be affected by 2 different things. First is the amount of copies that you're running for each mod, i.e. 1 copy, 2 copies, or 3 copies of something like Grenade Kickstart, and then also how many armor charge stacks you have when using that ability, ranging from 1 up to 6 total charges. With the value shown on screen now, as you can see, each additional armor charge stack that you have is going to increase the energy you're getting back, with any additional copies of mods acting like extra armor charges. So if we run something like 2 grenade kickstart mods, then 2 charged up mods, and then use our grenade with 5 total charges, as you see here, this is like having 7 total charges, giving us 45.8% of our grenade straight back. Understanding how Kickstart mods work make them way more useful, but were you also aware that some mods in Destiny literally do nothing? At base, most mods do have some effect, but as you start stacking multiple copies of mods, you get insane diminishing returns to the point where having extra mod copies does absolutely nothing. Here's a list of most of the ability-focused mods that you can put on armor pieces and their percentages going up per extra copy you're running. For all of the ARM-based mods, as you can see here, running 1 copy gives you a massive 20% towards the ability the mod is used for, with 2 copies at 25%, and then the 3rd copy being completely useless. The same thing is also going to be true for damage resistance mods that go on your chest. Most mods will stack up and have decent benefits up to 3 copies, but all of the elemental damage resistance ones are capped out at only 2 copies with 25% damage resistance. Armor mods that go on your legs do have benefits at 3 copies, but as you're going to see with everything on this list, the most you are getting going from 2 to 3 mods is 2.5% extra, which is never really worth it. Then lastly, on your class item, these mods work the same way, but as most people probably don't know either, these have different values depending on the class you're playing. And once again, high diminishing returns from 1 to 2 copies, and then 0 benefit from 2 to 3 copies. So if you guys see a build recommending 3 copies of anything, or honestly more than 1 copy in a lot of cases, chances are it's probably not worth it. Mods that are worth running though are surprisingly raid mods. I feel like a lot of these raid mods are super slept on, and they can actually help a ton of people and are often even used in speedruns and low mans because they can drastically affect how easy or hard an encounter is. In Root of Nightmares, the mod Focused Darkness is extremely useful against Explicator, which can give your supers and abilities up to 25% more damage, allowing for easy 1 phases, with Focused Light being able to do the same thing for your weapons. And even mods like Release Recover also exist so that you can get Cure and Restoration whenever you hit a node in first, second, or final encounter. Garden of Salvation has Enhanced Relay Defender to increase damage by up to 50% when standing near a relay, making the final boss way easier to kill, and Vow of the Disciple has one of the best mods, which is Into the Light. With this mod, you get a 25% increase to ability damage and 50% additional base ability regen per copy whenever you don't have Pervading Darkness, which can be used in every encounter and for both bosses to get some pretty insane damage just with grenades and supers. I only covered a few here, but these are, in my opinion, some of these stronger mods that I would highly recommend running to increase your DPS in raids. Speaking of damage, there's a bug right now which lets surge mods massively buff the damage of Golden Gun, but it only works with kinetic surges. I'm not sure why it works, and I do think it's a bug since I would imagine solar surges should be working over kinetic if it was intended at least. Plus, Bungie is also buffing Golden Gun by 20% next season, so it's gonna be hitting even harder. We used this method to get a duo one-phase kill against the Harpy boss in Spire of the Watcher, where we used 4 total Golden Gun shots, giving us an extra 2 million damage. And without kinetic surges, this would be way harder to pull off. So if you're a hunter running Golden Gun, make sure to run kinetic surges for maximum damage until this is fixed. And if you do want to see this live, I've been streaming our Spire speedruns over on my Twitch. To end the video off, for tip number 6, did you know that the source of the initial scorch damage affects how hard ignitions hit? Showing this off, if I use just my base incinerator snap, it's going to deal 47,000 damage with the ignition, which is going to be baseline. But if I then have something like Winter's Guile to increase my melee damage, since the base damage that Incinerator Snap does is increased, so is the ignition, and it now hits for 160,000. Taking this up a notch further, you can also use Ember of Ashes and a combination of abilities to optimize your ignitions. For example, just 1 fusion grenade and 1 celestial fire combines for 150 scorch stacks exactly. So using both of these lets me get off an ignition on command, and then one step further than that, you can use this to effectively stun most things in the game. And I'm not talking about champions either. We used to use this to stun the final boss in Spire of the Watcher so that we could prevent it from moving forward, making damage phases way easier. So if you guys are running solar, make sure you work things out to be as optimal as possible for your ignitions, because it can make your life way easier. That is 6 things I bet you probably didn't know inside of Destiny 2, but do let me know in the comments down below if you happen to know every single thing on this list down to the last detail, and if you guys want more videos like this. Also, most, if not all of the info was from the D2 Data Compendium and DIM, which has info through D2 Clarity. That's where I make sure I have all the correct info when it comes to values and knowing how things work inside of Destiny. So links to both of those will be down in the description below if you guys want to check those out to find info in the future on your own. As always, have a good one, guys. Peace.